man. You can't win. You can't lose. You can't lose. So
Yep.
when World on Wheels, I'm sorry, not World on Wheels, but Skate Depot, and it was next to the mall too. Come on, man. It's hard to beat that. Cerritos, everything about Cerritos has always been one of them cities that people just liked. It was always, I can't think of no old parts of Cerritos. I used to work off the 605 and I worked at Caltrans. I used to go to the Cerritos Mall for lunch on a regular basis. And it just always, even back in the 70s, it was always a modern, good-looking city. Never needed no facelift and nothing like that. It's new. It was built it was probably, I don't know when it was established, but I knew it was starting to develop in the late 60s, early 70s. And it's been a top-notch city all the way. So, hey, what can I take?
Yeah. Now let's talk about the decline of skating rinks, and the street element that messed that, and a lot of other things that you all once enjoyed when you were coming up.
One of the problems with skating rinks, if anybody ever seen the documentary United Skates, you'll see me in that documentary as well, talking about Skateland. But one of the things I learned from that documentary, United Skates, is that skating rinks require a lot of square footage to make a good skating rink, okay? And it's only being used, I don't know, maybe 20 hours, 40 hours a week for the most part. Let's say that. You got some early skate things on the weekends. The weekdays, you're not doing anything. Weeknights, you're doing some things. You might skate 5 to 6 hours a night. But again, for the amount of square footage that it takes to have a good skating ring, the tax factor that goes along with that can supersede the profit margin, especially in California. All right, so you got a tax base, you got all the square footage, so you can taxed by the city for all the square footage that you're using, and you only use this so much time, so much out of the week, out of the month. And when you look at the same square footage, and you put in a Home Depot or Walmart, your tax base is a lot better, and you only shut down maybe, I don't know, 30 hours a week. You shut down from 9 till 6 in the morning, or whatever time they shut down. But you got a big retail base that's making more money for the city, and you don't have the crime factor. And that's probably the ultimate situation that gets not only skating rinks, but nightclubs, sometimes restaurants shut down, is because they attract certain elements. There's not a lot of skating rinks around, and assholes and fools and idiots and gangbangers, all type of people come to skating rings, and a lot of times they don't even come in. They just wait in the parking lot because they know they're gonna see a possible op come out there. Somebody just come across town and have a good time because they know, and a lot of skating rings around. So it could be a good hunting place, which is lack of a better word. And every time, and this is the part that people don't understand, you have to be in business to understand what I'm saying. Every time, not most of the time, every time the police is called, you get what they call an incident report. An incident report for a business is like a ding on your credit report. Every time you get an inquiry or you don't pay a bill, a late payment, it's the same thing. It's a negative reflection on your business entity. And if you get too many incident reports, shootings, robberies, whatever the case may be, when it comes time to renew your license, or more so your CUP, conditional use permit, which is something you got to have for any business, whether it's a nightclub or a regular office building, you got to have a conditional use permit. And depending on the level of problem that you're encountering, it can hinder you maintaining or even operating in the same hours. Sometimes they say, oh, we're not going to shut you down, but you got to be closed by 11 o'clock. Now, you've been closing at 2. Now you got to close at 11. They ain't shut you down, but they cut your money down considerably, because now the police don't have to come out there at 1 o'clock in the morning and arresting fools or corralling people out the parking lot. But it also has a negative effect on your pocketbook. Actually, how I know.
Yeah, man. Now, The independent rap game was really big in the Bay Area and Northern California in the 80s. I mean, Too Short, E40, they were all doing their version of what you guys were doing down here, what they were doing on the East Coast and things like that. But did you ever collaborate or partner with anyone from the Bay or Northern California in the early 80s?
Nobody other than Atron, man. Atron was my go-to guy from the East Coast, from up north. I'm sorry, that was my go. He did a lot of collaborations, but I back then we didn't. There was nobody to really collaborate with. You know, we were all on different waves when it came to music, and as far as working together, like I said, nobody but me and Atron.
Tell us about Atron. For anyone who doesn't know, that was one of Tupac's former managers, correct?
Yeah.
And Digital Underground.
Atron Gregory. I met Atron Gregory through Jerry Heller. When Jerry started to work with the Eazy E, I was still signed to him, and Atron was starting to work with Jerry as a road manager, and later became my road manager and my intern. And it just became a friendship. We still have it right to this day. I still talk to him every other week. He formed his own label, which is called TNT Records. On TNT Records, you got Digital Underground, which got Tupac. And he, like I said, once Digital Underground blew up and Shock G blew up, it became, you know, they became who they did. Tupac was a spinoff, and he managed Tupac for a while until he went to jail for that last case. And that's when they kind of parted ways. Although he visited Tupac on a regular basis, when he got out, Tupac signed with Death Row. And that's a story. I don't know. He's saving that story for his book, so I can't go into details, but that's real as I'm gonna get today. But he's good dude. Just talked to him last week. You know, he's very, very intelligent brother, very smart brother, very kind brother. He's a on a personal tip, the dude is a black belt in one of the martial arts, and to talk to him, you can hear it. He almost talks like Kwang Chang sometimes. Well, Lonzo, you know, sometimes, you know, I get pissed off. Well, Lonzo, hold on a second, man. You know, he started talking that Buddhist shit. Man, let me do it. No, Lonzo, no, that's not how you should do that this time. Maybe you should look at the way of the master. Get the fuck out of here, Atron. Anyway, that I hope he watching. I'm fucking with him. He got me on my documentary. I'm getting his ass back today. But
that's
yeah,
good shit, man.
Yeah, we stayed tight for all these years, man. He's a good dude, and yeah, that's what it is, man.
You know, I'm gonna take this opportunity to give everyone an update on the channel. I'm actually going to be, or we're actually going to be posting, reposting some of Lonzo's old interviews from back in the day. Some that may have gotten buried in the videos, but so many people have been on this channel. Atron Gregory, Money B, speaking of